Welcome back everyone to the CFO Swinger Watch newsletter's technical analysis video for the week of May 20th through 24th. Now before I begin, I truly want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for sending such great support, your well wishes, thoughts, and prayers towards me, my family, and especially my grandmother. And if you guys didn't know what happened, my grandmother recently had a stroke, unfortunately, but she is trying to recover well, and we're doing the best as we can to try and help with that recovery process. So again, thank you all so much for helping me throughout this really difficult time and for your patience and understanding. With that, let's start off with the markets. So the S&P 500 or SPY had a pretty interesting last week, but overall, just a quick summary, bulls won. Right, so the bulls have definitely won, and they have full control of the price trend and price action because, well, we've hit all-time highs. Right, I mean that's the number one major and only reason to know why and understand why and comprehend why we are in an uptrend, and the bulls have fully taken control. Now, what was interesting about the monthly options expiration or OPEX last Friday was that we got very tight price action. Now, if you guys remember on Thursday night's live stream, I told you guys that, this candlestick on Thursday from last week looked a bit bearish, right? It seems like we're about to see a complete reversal to the downside, or at the very least, stay within this 524 to 530 price range, which has been really accurate. And instead of getting a full move down, I told you guys that since we are having OPEX, the monthly OPEX for May tomorrow, what we might actually get is a small move down and a very tight price action, a very, very tight sideways price action for most of the day before the last hour where we will see a bunch of volume coming in. And so that's exactly what we got here. If you take a look at the 2-hour time frame, all right, so we were basically doing nothing for most of Friday. So yes, first of all, initially we got that nice push lower because of the fact that we had a pretty bearish looking candlestick on Thursday on the daily time frame, of course, and then we got a nice push up higher near the last half of the day, and eventually we ended up in a very positive note at the last hour. But overall, based on the 2-hour time frame, the price really hasn't moved anywhere, right? I mean, we've basically just been stuck between the intraday level of 528.50. Okay, so if you guys want to take a look at that right here, okay, 528.50, or if you guys want to use simple whole numbers, 528, and all the way up into 530. So with that in mind, you guys have to really remember that this 524 to 530 price range, it's a pretty wide price range, is something that the markets can definitely play inside it, right? It can move sideways for weeks to come. So that's something that you guys should remember. And if that does occur, that really means that we should be looking at individual names rather than trying to formulate trade ideas or even actively trade indices like the S&P 500. And so that's exactly why we were looking at so many individual names last week. And that's the reason why we had so many successful swing trades and day trades on those specific individual names. All right. And so I've already explained this last week as well in that short kind of interim summary about the markets in the private CFO Discord. So make sure you guys go back to that as well. And so obviously the bear versus bull has given us a decisive winner with the bulls completely coming out on top with the new all-time high print. All right, so this week, I really wouldn't be surprised again to see complete sideways action until Wednesday, when we get our official FOMC minutes for the Fed FOMC meeting that we had on April 30th through May 1st. And that will have a complete impact on the markets, as that's a very detailed summary as to what the Fed members discussed during that FOMC meeting from April 29th, but the 30th, mostly for April 30th through May 1st. All right. Okay, so that sums up the market summary there. Let's take a look at our first ticker. So FSLR, this is the leader of the leaders of the solar names, right? The publicly solar companies. And FSLR has been a huge ticker for momentum. It's been a target for such bullish and bearish momentum. And whenever we see a trend going, this one continues that trend with strong volume and strong momentum. And so far, right now, we are in a very bullish trend with very bullish momentum and with very bullish volume. The trifecta of bullishness. And so what really attracted me to this ticker this week is that, well, first of all, we were able to break out of this huge macro resistance level at 170.50 for FSLR on the weekly time frame. And this breakout eventually led into some very good back-to-back weekly consolidation. And we saw a retest of this 170.50 as a new support. So we saw this very good pivot from the 170.50 level acting as a resistance, old resistance, into new support. And once we saw that, we continued to make the second leg up higher after, obviously, the initial leg up higher, which was at the break of 170.50. And so now, why are we looking at this currently this week? Well, first of all, we are in an uptrend, which means that we will continue to be in an uptrend. And on the weekly time frame last week, we have a nice hammer candlestick, and that is usually considered a reversal candlestick. However, we are in an uptrend. There's no need for a reversal. So why does this attract me, right? Why am I so attracted to this specific hammer candlestick? Well, since we are not looking for a reversal, since we are in a current uptrend, we are looking for a continuation of an uptrend, right? So we're not looking for a reversal, we're looking for a continuation of an uptrend. And so if you go on the daily time frame here, okay, we are seeing a very tight consolidation right underneath the whole number level of $199. So this is a daily resistance level. And based on the daily time frame here, right, we see a bit more details with each individual daily candlestick. And we see that we had this nice initial leg up higher, great consolidation, a second initial leg up higher, and then now consolidation. And so usually based on textbook price action and textbook uptrends, we tend to have three nodes or three phases of big moves up higher or impulses higher. And so it seems like we're on the cusp of a third impulsive move up higher or a third leg up higher once we are able to break over 199 as the whole number level here, right? And so that is why our entry point is slightly over 199 for a confirmation. So our long over 199.10 is our official entry point for an official breakout to the upside for the third leg up or third impulsive move to the upside. And make sure you guys read the newsletter first. Again, I'm reminding you guys to read the newsletter first before you watch this technical analysis video. Okay, so with FSLR, what I'm expecting to see is an immediate breakout over this whole number psychological level of 200. And that's right, we are literally $1 away from this 200 or $200 psychological whole number level once we are seeing a breakout over 199. So expect to see some resistance coming in, as there will be a lot of sellers trying to push the price back down to impede it from breaking over that barrier of 200, right? So make sure you guys are watching closely to see whether or not we see a bunch of sellers coming in at 200, or if there isn't any sellers there to stop the bullish momentum that we are currently seeing, right? So for some initial price targets for this ticker will be 211.50 and then 218.50. So this one right here is a maximum profit target for us since it is a weekly resistance level, and 211.50 is a daily resistance level. So if you take a look at the weekly time frame, okay, 218.50, was a huge level of resistance back in early 2023 all the way up into mid 2023 as well, and that's where we saw a lot of supply coming in, and also obviously it's near the all-time highs here, and we saw the price getting slammed down, and so that will be our maximum target for now because we don't want to be too ambitious and call for a new all-time high price print for our maximum price target. All right, so again, take a look at the newsletter to get the full idea and breakdown, and also the option contracts that we're looking to trade on this specific ticker. Excuse me, guys. All right, so the next ticker that we have, or swing trade idea that we have for this week, is MARA. So Mara. So this one is going to be a bit tricky. This Bitcoin mining name, but let me first go over the technicals here. So first of all, Mara has been in a very tight deadlock sideways price action between 16 and 20, right? Or specifically 16.10 if you guys want to be specific, and 20.10 if you guys want to be specific. All right, so I know some people like to be very, very detailed about that, but again, as long as you guys know the levels, right? No need to be arguing about what levels are correct by a few cents. Right? So Mara and all other major crypto related stocks like Coinbase, right? Ticker symbol COIN, and like Riot, right? RIOT is the ticker symbol. They all have started their own consolidations, and they all look like they're ready to make another next leg up higher. But Mara here sort of, it's not really fitting into that I guess quote unquote phase, because so far it's been making a very good tight sideways action, but it hasn't been able to break out and continue with higher highs and higher lows, even during its consolidation. So what I would personally like to see is a hold over this $20 level, because we've been stuck in this level or this range between 16 and 20 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, including last week. And what I would like to see is at least the price staying over and closing over this $20 level. But instead, we have not been seeing that for the past 20 weeks, right? And so what I would like to see basically is what we saw here, right? At least a break over 20, and we don't necessarily have to make higher highs. All I would want to see is a simple close over 20 on the weekly candlesticks, or even simply on any trading day on the daily time frame. So for Mara on the weekly time frame, there is a chance that we can see a flush of the buyers yet again if the buyers try to get over $20 earlier this week, okay, or early this week, excuse me, and we can see a move back down to 16 to retest it one last time, and at the same time coincide with the weekly daily 50 SMA, which has been creeping up ever so slowly. And so far, last Friday, it closed at 15.91. And so you can kind of round that up, because eventually the daily 50 SMA will start to crawl up again once the market opens. And as long as the price continues to stay right underneath $20, we will see the weekly 50 SMA hitting that $16 level. But again, there's still that chance that we can see a flush of the buyers here that are stuck in this range with the sellers, okay? And we can see the price coming right back down to retest 16, and possibly we can get a nice early but riskier bounce entry at $16. Okay, now obviously, since we are in this kind of deadlock sideways price action between 16 and 20, our official breakout entry point will be over $20, which will give us that entry point of 20.10. right? Now, I am planning to keep this one for months. So this might be a position trade, depending on whether or not Bitcoin itself and the entire crypto market continues its bullish run to the upside, right? And so for Mara here, I do have some very large and long-term targets, with the first one being 31.80-ish, or if you guys just want to round up, 32, right? 32, okay? But again, I mean, I can give you guys some earlier profit targets where you guys can at least take half the position off if the position works in our favor, obviously. And we can be looking at our first profit target at 29.50. Okay, so these are all both weekly levels that you guys should be looking at. But on the daily time frame, if you guys are really just trying to keep this as a very short-term swing trade, okay, I would say around 24.50 might be your best bet for the first target, okay, for a daily resistance level. Let's make that a little bit more accurate, okay? But again, I mean, this one I have explained why in the newsletter, but I am looking to hold it for a lot longer time than just trying to take profits at these daily resistance level, maybe even just at, for example, 22.50 as well, okay? I have a bigger picture in mind for this ticker, so make sure you guys read the newsletter first. All right, and as usual with FSLR, for MARA, take a look at the newsletter for the option contracts we're looking to swing and all the other details that you guys need to read. Okay, and last but not least, we have Tesla. So Tesla is kind of intriguing. So first of all, on the weekly time frame, this does not look good. I'm going to keep it very, very blunt and very frank with you guys, but Tesla looks pretty bad. However, there has been a slight change in the actual constructive price action and trend the past 3 weeks. So first of all, we've had this nice move up during earnings week, and then we had a nice gap up as well on the following week after earnings week, right? And so what happened after that was a pretty constructive and very low volume pullback to completely fill in this gap that we saw after earnings week. And I love the fact that we were able to pull back on such low volume, but on top of that, we were able to retain the weekly 10 SMA as new support. So now the weekly 10 SMA is acting as a new SMA support. And last week, we actually confirmed that by continuously staying over the weekly 10 SMA. And that means that there is a chance for us to see another retest of the next big weekly SMA, which is my weekly 21 SMA, this light blue line. And so yes, we have initially retested it, but usually when we do see an initial retest, we tend to see an initial rejection, and that's exactly what we got. So if we were to continuously consolidate in between the weekly 10 and weekly 21 SMAs as we were seeing for the past 3 weeks essentially here, we should be seeing another retest of the weekly 21 SMA, and that's exactly where we want to be involved in for Tesla, because that means there is further upside price action to follow this week. And that brings me into the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, all right, it seems like just simply based on the price action on the daily time frame, most of the bad kind of negative sentiment and news seemed to be priced in, right? I mean, obviously I wouldn't know that, but just based on observations, Tesla looks pretty good to try to base out on the bottom here, at the bottom of this large downtrend that we've been seeing since last year, and finally attempt a breakout back to the upside and eventually stage a complete reversal. And so on the daily time frame, we are currently constructively building an inverted head and shoulders. So what we have here on the left is the left inverted shoulder, and then right here we have the inverted head, a very, very small head here. And on the right, we're still seeing the continued construction of the right inverted shoulder. And that's exactly where we want to be involved in, because if we were to follow what I've drawn here, this nice curvature to the upside, we should be seeing a breakout over that 180 resistance level on the daily time frame right over here. And we can continuously move up higher with higher lows and higher highs until we're able to reach, like I said before, that weekly 21 SMA. And that weekly 21 SMA is sitting at and closed that last Friday at 187.63. And so if you take a look on the daily time frame, that is really close to 190. And so 190 will be my first initial target for this swing trade to the upside. And eventually I would want to see a retest of 198.50, or if you guys want to be simple, $200. So that whole number psychological level of 200, just like what I explained to you guys with FSLR, our first swing trade idea for this week. So Tesla, I am really expecting it to at least retest that high that we saw 3 weeks ago, okay, which is sitting at 198.87. But if this one is actually able to stage a complete reversal, I would want to see an eventual retest of 200. So again, that magic magnetic whole number psychological level of 200. It's a mouthful, guys. It's a very, very much a mouthful to say, because again, it's a very important level to consider for Tesla to break back to the upside and stage a complete reversal from its horrible price action and trend for the past year. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Hopefully you guys are able to use these swing trade ideas to your own benefit, and hopefully I can see you guys in the private CFO Discord tomorrow morning. All right, so if this technical analysis video was insightful, make sure you guys leave a like down below. It really helps out with the algorithm. And if you aren't subscribed yet, I don't know why you wouldn't be, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. But most importantly, once you guys subscribe, make sure you guys hit that notification bell so that you guys know when I have uploaded a new video on this channel, and also when I am live on this channel as well. All right, good luck, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning.